Hi, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my Stampin' Up studio. We're going to start a little string of Christmas projects here. I may go back and do a couple of fall and Thanksgiving projects, but we're moving on to Christmas, and I'm going to start, I intended today to start with some of the different kits, but then when I started stamping, I wanted to do something simple, and I really wanted to use this set here, and so, you know, I went where it took me. So I'll go back to the kits, but my intent for the next couple of tutorials that I'm going to do for you is to show you some quick things that you can whip together. And while I might not show you the other ideas that I have for them, I might put them over on my blog, or I'll just tell you. Like today's would make some really cute little gift packaging tags and things, but I just have the card for you. So I'm going to use 2 stamp sets today. I'm going to use the Tiny Keepsakes, and I'm going to use the Buffalo Plaid. This is what I really wanted to use out of this stamp set. And at camp last week, we had talked about it. And then I'm going to use the Cup of Cheer. But for this, I'm going to use the Cup of Cheer bundle. And I'm going to not use any of the big stamps, which is something, if you follow my channel, you know, I encourage you that when you look at the stamps to always take the big images out and then look at everything else. Because when you look at this and you're flipping through, you think, I don't need any coffee stamps, or I don't need any drink stamps. So a lot of times we just ignore everything else in it. So today I'm just going to use some of the words and the little thing, but the dies are fabulous. Such fun little dies. And I'm not going to use any of the cups because I'm going to follow my own rule. I'm going to ignore the overall theme of the stamp set, and then just use something else. So we're going to go back to some traditional Christmas colors, and don't worry, because, you know, I like to go non-traditional too, but I just have some white cardstock, some black cardstock, and then some little pieces of cardstock that I'm going to use. I wanted to keep that separate so I don't cut it. So here we go with the little buffalo check. I have it mounted to my Stamparatus. I'm going to use the front panel. Here's a little tip for you. I'm going to round the corners, but don't round the corners until after you've put it in your Stamparatus, because if you're doing multiples and you have it marked, it's easier to mark it with the square corners. So I have mine marked in here. And the reason I like to use this with the buffalo check, twofold, on Christmas cards especially, you're probably making more than one. And even if you're making tags for this, to get it centered and to get the buffalo check straight, because see, I've lined it up with this line here on the grid paper, and then I lined it up here. I stamped it first on here so it was center, and then I drew the lines on here. So if you round these, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to put your paper in. So you can always round those second. And I want a black buffalo check because, you know, that's my jam. I love some black buffalo check all over the place right now. In fact, I kept intending to stamp this and punch my pumpkin out of it. Fall's getting away from me, and I want to move on to some Christmas projects, because at November camp, this probably will be a November camp project, but in November we pretty much do all Christmas, maybe one Thanksgiving project. But the other reason I like to do it with the buffalo check is because now if you don't get this stamped perfectly, you can ink it up. See, I intentionally didn't press everywhere because I want to show you, if you don't get it good, you just ink it up again and do it over instead of wasting paper. But it's also super fast then for, this time I'll make sure I press good. It's also super great then if you're doing multiples of your card, because you just line this puppy back up in there. But even if you're doing tags, which I think this would make a super cute tag, and I'll show you, oh, did I move the ribbon? It can't be far because I have it left on my table. Just moved it out of sight. These would make some super cute tags with some just really basic paper. But see, you can really screw that thing up and then just re-ink it again, and it lines up perfectly. But having the square corners to put it in here really helps, because if they're round, it's a little bit harder to gauge. So that's all we need for that. If you were doing more, then just keep putting those in there and do all of this at first. Okay, and then I'm gonna let that dry though before I round my corners, just because I don't want that to smear. So let's do our die cutting. So this is where the Cup of Cheer die cuts are gonna come in. And if you've not seen them, they're so super cute. You may have seen them and not know what set they come from, because a lot of times, like I said, we just look at the big part of a stamp set and you think, oh, I don't do coffee. So then you don't do any of it. But it's not just coffee, it's hot chocolate. It could be, you could put it with a cup of soup. And do get well cards. You can always do tea. You could put it with, you might not drink coffee, but I'm sure if you have some younger people in your life, they all like Starbucks gift cards. So, I mean, look at it, but then also look at all the little pieces. So here's some red glimmer paper. And on this one, I'm gonna switch it up from my original sample. The original one has the shimmer glimmer paper. I'm gonna use the silver and see which one we like better, and then just some spruce. So I'm gonna run these through all at once. It only took one pass through before. I didn't know if doing them all at once would make them have to do 2 passes, but it was fine. So, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, maybe not. I think I put my candy canes on the wrong ones. But that's okay. They'll just be opposite than my other card because, you know, we can be different. And just make sure that you get them all back in here. That's why I like to have these little trays. No, I did it right. No, I did it wrong. It's not wrong. It's just opposite. So put my scrap over here. This one I did before the 3 little berries. This one I did before opposite the red and the... One of the candy canes cuts out lines and one cuts out the solid, and I did these opposite. And here's my little silver bow, which it won't matter as much since I did my bow silver. That's why I switched it, because the shimmer bow wasn't showing up quite as much on the white. I need my pokey tool. And my holly berries. But I always like to have that when you have these little things to make sure you've accounted for all of your dies before you move on. There's nothing worse than having a more costly stamp set and bundle of dies and then losing one of the tiny ones. Okay, now we can round our corners. So we have, because I'm going to do a black face, I also have a white inside. And I just have our 3-in-1 corner rounder. I'm going to stand up to do it. So just slide it all the way in there. Make sure it's flush to the corners, and then just round all 4. And if you were making a tag, you could just round the top 2 and then use this one here. So maybe I will make a tag and I'll stick that over on my website because it'll be super cute. I'm still kind of looking out of the corner of my eyes for where I put the ribbon, because originally I intended to put the ribbon on the card, but then as I got going, I kind of liked it simple. And sometimes, you know, not that we're cheap or anything, but when you're mailing a whole lot of Christmas cards and you take them up to the post office and the postmaster starts feeling every last one of them to see, you know, what kind of embellishments we've stuck in our card, then they start adding up. So sometimes the flatter your card, the cheaper it will be. Here's the ribbon that I have. I'll show you this later. So there's the inside. And then, but if you were going to do a tag, just then slide this one in and then do your hole, and that's where you can put your ribbon through. So fold this in half. My bone folder is still packed. I'm almost unpacked from camp from last week, but I haven't unpacked everything. All my bone folders are over there. So we've got this. Let's do the inside. This card doesn't take long at all. And if you were doing multiples, you could do all of the steps. Like do a whole bunch of die cutting, do all of the buffalo checks, then do all of the insides. This is from the stamp set. And it says, wishing you a Christmas filled with love and happiness. I'm just gonna stamp it here. And then there's a tiny little holly berry that matches the holly we're gonna put on the front. So just put that up in the corner. It could have been stamped a little straighter, but hey, you know, sometimes when we're stamping a lot of Christmas cards, the straight isn't the best, but, oh, and then I do need this. And I've got a little Merry Christmas out of the set. This one I will do a little bit straighter. It's always hard when I'm stamping for you guys because my head's not right over the top of my card. Let's stand up again. And stamp this down here. There we go. So you have a little greeting. Like I said, I was going for simple on this card because the buffalo check is kind of a rustic looking thing. So let's go ahead and do the inside. And if you were doing multiples, do all of your insides. Like you could color them all before you put them in, but since we're doing this, we'll just stick it in here. I like that with the rounded corners, and because you have a black, or anytime you have a dark inside, it's nice to have the white so you can sign it or write a greeting. And this is just my spruce and my red blend. You could use the Stampin' Write if you have them, because you're not going to blend, obviously. This holly is teensy tiny. But it just adds a bit of festivities to the inside of your card. And literally, the holly berries are just a dot. But it does make the inside of your card look nice. So now to do the outside, I'm going to go ahead and mount my card together. Which this is not how I did it the first time, and really it doesn't matter. You can do it either way. So I have this little strip that's a kind of a scrap piece of glimmer, and the glimmer can be hard to stick. So here's my recommendation. Flip this over, put some adhesive along the bottom of this, and then flip this over and kind of line this up. So you've got this holding that to that just a little bit, and then flip that over again. And then at a strip right here. And then that will stick in place to the actual cardstock. The back of this will stick better, but now we've got it where we wanted, unless I moved it. I think it stayed. And then I'm sticking this towards the top. So it's not quite centered. It's more towards the top to have that red really shine through. There we've got the card base. Now we just have to put our die cuts on and we're done. So let's start with, my other one's going to be, oh no, I did this. No, I started to say, oh no, I did it right. It's because I haven't popped these little puppies out of here. So this is going to be opposite from my other one. So then we can just see all kinds of variations and see which one we like the best. So just get these out and you can see how this then has the stripes ready. So you're gonna overlay this. And then I put all this together with glue dots. So my recommendation would be, if you're making a lot of these, to just go ahead and get a lot of die cuts cut out and just have them all ready. You would want to make sure that you have your 3 little holly berries and maybe a little cup or a little container like this so you don't lose them, because you can see they're kind of tiny. So get your leaf. They punch out really well. I was trying not to get them out of their dies before I was ready because I didn't want to lose them. This is a part that you could do while you're watching TV or watching a Hallmark movie or have somebody help you with. But they punch out easy. It's just, the glimmer paper sometimes takes, it's not that it sticks, it just is got the glitter that kind of holds on to the die. Okay, so then I just took glue dots and I didn't use any more than necessary. So like on my candy cane, I put one at the top and one at the bottom. And you just kind of fold them over so they fit on whatever it is that you're glue dotting. And wherever the first thing sticks, you just kind of build it from there. And again, the same with this one. These have the little places in between. So I put one here and then one down here. You have to kind of fold them over to get them to fit on that little piece, because you don't want glue dots sticking out. And then this just layers over the top. Like that. And the white didn't need a third one. This is going to need a third one because the glimmer paper kind of raises up a little bit more. The white came through the die cut flatter. So we'll just add another glue dot right here. There you go. Look how adorable that is. Is that not the cutest candy cane you ever saw? And then I just took the 2 stems of my holly, and that's kind of why I didn't bother so much with putting anything in the middle, and just this fat piece of my holly right here. Every card's going to be a little bit different because they're literally just kind of landing where you place them, but you're just doing like a little sprig of Christmas design. And then 1 glue dot each on each berry, and that's going to help secure all of it down. So you can use the glue dot to pick them up. You could use this end too, but the glue dot works just as well. This is why I had the white on top as well, because now I have berries on top of red glitter, but I think it'll be okay. can't have too much red glimmer at Christmas. And you know, the less is more is always a little bit difficult for me. So we have, you know, the stars and the glitter enamel dots and the holiday rhinestones. You know, there was part of me that was just tempted to stick a whole bunch of stuff on here. Like I thought about putting some rhinestones down here, but when it was all said and done, I really liked the simplicity of this card. So I stopped myself, which sometimes can be difficult because, you know, you want all the pretties on your card. So here's our last little piece and we're done. So there's not a whole lot when you use the Stamparatus. In fact, if you were doing multiples of these, I would suggest that you go ahead and get the words lined up. And after you do your buffalo check, just run those puppies through the Stamparatus as well. And then there's really not much failing that can be done on this card, which is great when you're doing a lot of them. So here's this one. Here's my opposite candy cane with the shimmer bow and the other shimmery cardstock. So they both work. Maybe I do like this one. Maybe you can see a little bit more of the red glimmer. I don't know, maybe the white bow. We could switch bows and see which ones we like better. I don't think you could really go wrong. They're both super cute, great inside. But if you were gonna do a tag, so just take and make your tag, make your piece of paper so it's this length and higher up here, so you can round the corners here, add your little slit here, and then I haven't opened this ribbon, but maybe I'll make one and put it on the website. So hop over to my blog when you're done watching this, and then you'll want to keep coming back because I'm going to be showing you, but look how pretty this ribbon is. So that was why I went with real red, because I was going to do this, but just that on the top. I thought about adding some bows. So if you were doing a tag and you just wanted to use some plain craft colored cardstock, how pretty would some of these bows be to just jingle? Or if you wanted to go ahead and use the cup, add the cup to it and put some hot chocolate or something in it. Here's the ribbon that comes in the Snowman Suite. Again, that would work perfectly well for a tag. And you know, always, 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 the white polka dot tulle always works for all of them. You're doing a big gift, you can wrap this around the actual box, which is pretty. So lots of, you know, you go red and green, just pull out all of the red and green in the similar colors that you have from the Stampin' Up! Stuff. Here's the Toile Tidings glitter enamel dots. This green is not the spruce, so it's a different green. It is the green of the buttons, I mean the bells, because they come out of the same suite. But there you go, a super fast little card. And I hope that it makes you see the cup of cheer in a way that you might not have noticed before. So everybody have a great day. Bye.